Buy to Let show, we've been talking about how you choose the right property to let. Joining me now to talk about that more are Carrie Alliston from Hunters Agents, Christina Dimitrov from Direct Line, and Vanessa Warwick from Property Tribes. Hello, everybody. So, my first question, Carrie, perhaps you can kick us off. Given a choice, should investors be looking at a flat or a house?
I think you, as an investor, you want to look at what's going to give you the best return. When you're considering a flat, maybe you really need to consider the leasehold aspect of it. You need to pay your ground rent and service charges, so that has an additional impact on your outgoings. But also looking at things like the age and condition of the property is also really important. So house or flat also comes down to the area. If it's city centre, it's going to be a flat. Definitely. Yeah. So looking at your market, you need to look at all those aspects, from your area to the type to what the outgoings are going to be. OK, that's helpful. Christina, from an insurance perspective, is there a big difference?
Well, from an insurance perspective, if you want to keep things simple, very transparent, it's easier to buy a house, definitely. And why is a flat more complex? Well, because typically your freeholder, the person that owns or the company that owns the entire building, will have some sort of buildings insurance, and you are contributing to it via your service charge. What it means, however, is that if you're letting out this property, it may not be covered. The service charge insurance may not cover for a tenant being in the property, or for public liability, for example, that you also need as a landlord. So you'll have to do quite a lot of extra research. You have to get an idea of what the insurance contract looks like, and then you have to get separate insurance for yourself that covers any eventual gap. So it just really is a little more work, it's a little more complex. Sure. And at the point of a claim, you might just have to ring a few more phones.
OK. And Vanessa, hugely experienced landlord, tell us your view.
I am a big fan of freehold houses. I mean, obviously there is the issue of leasehold. It restricts what you can do to the property. With a freehold house, you can add value. You could do a loft conversion. You could do an extension. You have much more control over the property. And, I believe that actually houses are in decline. There's a huge trend towards building leasehold flats, and wherever there's scarcity, there's value. And, families want to live in houses. They want a garden that their kids can play in. They want good parking, they want to be in a good school catchment area, and they want to be in a kind of community. And for me, it's freehold houses all the way.
Right, there we go. And my next question is back to you as well, Vanessa. We chat about this a lot. We do. If you go online or you're going to a show, how many times do we see people offering discounted properties, instant income through rent to rent? What's your kind of thoughts on these initiatives? Do they actually work, or what research do you have to do?
Well, due diligence is absolutely key in anything to do with property, not only on the actual property itself, but every single person or entity you're going to have any kind of financial interaction with. My sort of bottom line on this is, if it sounds too good to be true, it is. Every time, without fail, no exceptions. And the other thing is don't take anybody's word for anything. Always do your own research. And the biggest thing for me is to find the demand before you create the supply. It's no good buying a property that you allegedly got a 10% discount off if nobody wants to rent it. So you've got to find the demand first. Yeah. And there's so many, I call them wealth creation companies or get-rich-quick schemes out there that make so many promises. And I call it buying a ticket to see a unicorn, because what they offer, the vast majority of the time is very, very hard to bring to reality. Sounds great in theory, go and put it into practice and you'll find blockages all the way. So important to do your own due diligence, get the right advice and support and make sure that you understand your investment from every angle. If you don't, it won't be an investment, it will be an absolute financial nightmare.
And this isn't quite the armchair investment that it is. You're right, you've got to get out of that armchair, visit that property. I mean, some people buy without even visiting the property, don't they?
Absolutely astonishing. When a new mobile phone comes out, people will travel and go, at 5 o'clock in the morning to queue up, and then they're going to invest in a property and they don't even bother to go and see it. I find it absolutely astonishing. It's absolutely vital to go to the area, understand it, seek the input of local lettings agents, get their views on things, and just fully understand it.
Okay, that's really helpful. And I guess that really brings us on to the last question. Christina, who do you think are the key people that a landlord has to work with to make sure that their buy-to-let's successful?
I think there are generally 3 steps you can think about. First of all, you need to get an idea of what the realistic rental income is that you can expect in that area. And to get that, you need to really speak to somebody who's a local agent who understands the recent trends, the recent growth, what's driving rental levels in a certain area, and what you can then realistically expect. So you can't.
They can change quite quickly, can't they?
Can
From
change.
Doing quite well to not doing so well.
Exactly. It can go in both directions. It could be that there is some major development that increases supply in an area. It could be that there's a new built road that changes the history of this whole area. So there can be a lot of things that impact that, and an agent really will know about this, but he needs to be very, very local. So it's not like you're going to be in London and you're going to go all the way to Soho to get a check for a property in Bethnal Green.
Yeah.
You need to stay in the place that you want to invest in.
Knowing those roads and streets.
Yes, exactly. And the other thing, of course, then is you need to, like Vanessa said, have a look and inspect the building. You need to be aware if there's any problems with the building structure, or if in this area there's been incidents, subsidence, for example, because this is something that can really cause you a lot of trouble. Mm-hmm. So what you need is somebody who's a surveyor, again, ideally somebody locally based. Yeah. Who knows
the ground.
Who knows the ground, who knows the history, who's spoken to other people in this area. And finally, when you want to buy and you go to that step, you need to speak to a lawyer, somebody who can guide you through this process and can, I suppose, save you not only from hassle, but also from problems that you wouldn't have thought about. He can guide you through that process. And again, let me get back to this. Local is really good. So local people will know other landlords that have potentially the same properties. They will know a lot about changes to the area, for example, flight paths. They'll know if there's some planning permission for other major properties. They will be the ones that can guide you through any eventualities.
Okay, yeah, I think that's really helpful. Carrie, you're an agent, so I guess that's top of the list.
Absolutely. I mean, she's absolutely right. It is about local expertise. That's what a good agent is all about. That's what they thrive on as well. It is about knowing the area, to give the landlord some proper information, whether that's serious information about the property itself or what's local that's going to be appealing to people who want to rent there. It's all about that knowledge of being a local expert. Which I think is so important.
Because you can get in some areas where we're talking about houses and schools and things, where one side of the street goes to one school and the other side of the street goes to another, and that can actually even affect house prices.
It can, yeah, it does. And coming back around in terms of the type of tenants that you're going to appeal to, when you're as an agent, you want to appeal to the most amount of people, and as a landlord, that's key for you to get someone in there to start getting a return on your investment.
And I guess as managing tenants all the time, then you understand what the changes are in supply and demand.
Absolutely, yeah. We talk to our tenants all the time. We get their feedback. They talk to us. They then come to us for advice when they want to move on. So it's full circle, and that's why having a local expert is really, really important. And
also, I think with agents, it's important to know they're not regulated. So it's an agent that's Arla, Nowls, Ricks or UK Arla, I think is the other one, and making sure they're a member of a good trade organisation that keeps them up to date with the legals. Yeah,
absolutely, and that's the biggest benefit for landlord and tenants. It's important that people know that it's a voluntary accreditation that agents like us have, and that does show people that the property is going to be safe. you're well looked after, going to meet all the regulations. Yeah, it's absolutely essential.
Okay, that's great. Well, thanks very much. So that's it for now on the Buy to Let show. Many thanks to my guests for being with me. And don't forget, you can see all of our programmes online, where you'll find everything you need to know about Buy to Let. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now. Here on the Buy to Let show, we aim to bring you all the information you need to run a successful buy to let. You can find more advice and help by following these links. And you can download our special ebook, which goes with the programme.